Welcome back to the CroftCast. I'm John F. Croft. It's Christmas Day. You know what that means? That means St. Nick has come and gone. I watched Fat Man last night. May or may not give you a review on that later. But we're at the end of 2020. Now, does that mean all the 2020 stuff's going away? Probably not. It just will become 2021. But we all have the opportunity to pick and choose how we decide or how we felt, really look back and reflect on what exactly was 2020. Oh yeah, there were the lockdowns. There was the coronavirus. There were all these other things. Quick side note here. If you see me moving around a lot, that's because I'm an animated guy. Now, the camera does follow me. That's because I would like to remain in frame, and if I go wandering off, I may or may not turn that feature off. I'll try not to move around as much. That was some feedback that I did receive, which I do appreciate the feedback. Some other feedback that I received was I need to include more graphics and editing under consideration. And also my transitions between topics may or may not flow. If it's unscripted, they flow how they flow. The entire premise of the show is what's in my mind, I don't know, and you don't know. We're going to get through this journey together. For those of you that have been around me any amount of time, really, you should realize by now, it's like a Jack Russell Terrier jumping around in there. I can't help it. It's just, it is what it is. I can't unwire that. I can't stop the A to Z to B, back to W, back over to G. Maybe I should have thrown in some guitar chord references there. Maybe that would have made more sense with the guitars hanging behind me. Which directly behind me, which you can't hardly see, I'm not saying that I'm a blonde guy or not. However, I've recently found myself, so the guitar on that side, right there, that was blondish. And then I get we're going to call her a redhead. And then there's a blonde right there. I'm not picky. As long as, I'm just gonna say it. I don't favor. I don't judge. Though you can't see it. I'll try to remember add some more graphics in for the guitar. I don't think she's a natural blonde. Anyway, you'll see the pictures. I have to put that in. Otherwise, won't make any sense. But back to 2020 and what we make of it. I told you, it's Christmas Day. It's the end of Christmas Day, December 25th. It could be going on a little bit longer depending on where you are in the time zone. And obviously, when you listen to it, it's not going to be Christmas Day any longer because I'm not going to get this published and put out in the next 2 hours. I don't know. I may talk for 2 hours. I may talk for the next 10 minutes. But I wanted to recap kind of what 2020 was for me. For those of you that have been following along since April when we launched the CroftCast, I mean that was I'm skipping a quarter of the year into 2020, but really, with the whole COVID thing coming on, lockdown, can't go anywhere, I decided that I needed some mental relief, an outlet. For those of you longtime listeners, watchers, not so much, we'll get to that, if I remember, a little bit later, when we run down the entire chain of events of 2020. Again, my mind jumps around here. This will all tie in together. I hope, maybe, My mother came up today, and we were talking about 2020. She's like, 2020 was horrible. 2020, pardon me, 2020 for me, while it started off kind of dark and dreary pre-COVID, back in February, huge life-changing, altering event occurred, and the build up to that, I guess, had been going on for a while, to be honest, and that's what this show is. I mean, it's honesty. It's me opening up, letting it all out there, putting it out there, and it's me on a plate. Here it is, served up. You may not necessarily always like or eat or consume whatever's on the plate, but I'm putting it out there and offering it. So in February, I got divorced. Hadn't really talked about that before. That was big. Not necessarily something that I wanted. It wasn't something I wanted at all. I've told some stories about things that had gone on in the past, and the great trips and the memories and the things that we had done as families, and Haley growing up in the house, same parents. And sometimes things don't work out regardless of how long the relationship is or was. We shouldn't be afraid to, first of all, to open up, communicate. It is very important. And whatever the relationship is, to be honest, to talk to one another, to have an open dialogue. If sometimes things don't work out, or they work out later, or whatever the timeline is, we can't control it, and we shouldn't try to control it. We shouldn't try to manipulate it. We should really just listen to what's going on and talk and communicate. That's both personally in our personal relationships, and then in our business relationships, our day-to-day dealings with people that you're dealing with in the store or wherever you are. We should be cordial. We should be friendly. Which, and again, going back to the divorce, there was no hard feelings. There was no animosity. There was nothing bad. And with the ending of relationships, that gives us the opportunity to start new relationships, or how, anyway. This is not, I'm not Dr. Phil, I'm not Dr. John, this is getting probably too far deep down that rabbit hole. Anyway, February starts off with that. It was rough. I'm going to be honest with you. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. There could have been other things that could have gone on, didn't, right, wrong, and different. Timing on certain things just doesn't work out, or anyway. So we have February, going to March, the COVID lockdown starts. We as a team, as a group, not me and you, but maybe some of you, but we tried to maintain a cohesive work relationship, and we were having virtual happy hours, and that went on for a little bit. And I've showed y'all, you may have seen it, the things I was doing around the house to try to remain sane. And then, like, you know what? I need something else to do, because like my commute was cut down because I didn't have to go anywhere. I'm here, and I had some time. Work day's done. Let me offload. Typically, we would do this in the office. I don't know if y'all figured this out yet. I do like to have a good time. I like to make a joke or two. I use humor as a way. Sometimes it's a deflection. Sometimes it's a way to break up some monotony. Maybe could have used a little humor earlier in certain situations. I don't know. Whatever's in the past is in the past, and it's behind us. We've moved on. I've learned. I think one of the great things about 2020 that it's given me is an opportunity of self-reflection. And a lot of you have been along the journey, along the way. And you may have witnessed it. I've received feedback from family and close friends noting some of the changes. I'm not trying to change. I'm not trying to become somebody else. I'm trying to find the me that got lost somewhere along the way. I used to be the guy that you may have heard the Big Kahuna tell some of the stories of when I was younger. I mean, it's like I was breaking and wrecking stuff. And I was breaking and wrecking stuff because I had reckless abandon. And then you grow up, you become an adult, and you start a family, and you think, I probably need to stick around for a little bit longer. I'd probably already burned up, 6 or 7 of those lives that the cats have. If I was a cat, I'm not a cat guy. I respect the cat though. The cats versus dogs. I mean, a cat owns everything. I respect that. They're like, nah, it's mine, dude. The dog will be a servant to the master. A cat's not going to be a servant to the master. Ask that guy that got his head bit off. Not literally bitten off. Well, there's probably some people that had their heads removed by a cat. But, hey, this is my pet tiger. Watch me while I stick my head in here. I don't care how long you've had that cat. Probably not a good idea. Dog, on the other hand, loyal. So, not a cat guy. I'm a loyal guy. I respect the cat, though. They're a feral animal of any kind can be, well, exactly what it is, feral and wild. So one does have to be cognizant and careful of sticking your head in the wrong mouth. And I don't know where I was going with all this, but somehow or another, that's the cat hole, if that's the thing, that we went down. It wasn't a bunny hole. We're talking about rabbits. It's not duck season. Oh, it might be duck season. Maybe somewhere. It may or may not be rabbit season. It certainly is open season on feral hogs. How did you get to feral hogs? Well, we're talking about different seasons here in Texas, probably around the country. No season on those. So, gonna go try to reduce some of the feral hog population here in a couple of days. Looking forward to that. Helping out a friend. And at the same time, get away from the city. Get out in the country. Taking the dogs. They're loyal. We'll see how loyal they are if they want to come back. They may become country dogs. I know my daughter's all freaking out. She's like, you can't take my dog to the country. Well, your dog lives with me, so if I'm going to go, I got to take the dog. You want me to just leave her here all by herself? Probably not a good idea. Can't feed herself. No opposable thumbs to open the food bin, scoop it out, put it in there. But back to, I got way off topic. It's typical John F. and Croft fashion here. Hold on. I do have some notes just in case. Nothing scripted, but we moved into the COVID situation. Launched the CroftCast. That was in April. Maybe the 16th. That was just kind of like a soft launch. No website, no nothing. I was putting it out there for you OG homies out there. I mean, that was just shared out like, hey, go listen to this. What do you think? Got the feedback and said, yeah, I like it. Keep doing it. So I've kept doing it and learned a lot along the way about myself. And I would say the show's not about me, but you know what? It's my show. So really the show's about me. And whatever comes out of my mind and however we make it through whatever, I'm not going to say we're talking about, but with your feedback, then that gives me something to talk about. So we're kind of talking to one another. I have some of the feedback that I've received over the past 8 months. The video, which skipping ahead to September timeframe, maybe September, October, somewhere in there. I didn't make notes on the dates. I don't know. I just kind of know generalizations of when things occurred. I could go check the logs. So could you. When was the first video put out? Go look. I don't know. If you really want to know the exact date, you can go check. It really doesn't matter, but it's been 3 or 4 months. So we went through the audio phase, went to Arkansas in July, did the canned heat sessions. Those were the first recordings with not just me. And so that was fun, but it was still an audio only show. Jump ahead to November, did some more canned heat, but this time it's a video show. We're taking it to the next level. And I've learned, I've changed softwares. I've done different things. I've actually had an enjoyable 2020, given how it all started. That was really the kick in the shorts that I needed. Things had become mundane, stale, just stuck in the rut. So sometimes we need that kick in the teeth for the reset. And we shouldn't be afraid to reset. We shouldn't be afraid to rebrand. And I don't mean just change who you are, what you do, just to try to appeal to someone else. But your brand is you. When people see you, there's, though we shouldn't judge other people, there's an initial perception of who you are. Now, I've put a lot of my life out here, told you the stories, gone through a number of things. Try not to reveal too much personal information so the cybersecurity hackers, whomever they are, wherever they are, in whatever a stand, they may not. And my mother's maiden name and I don't use my dog's names and passwords, so you can try all you want. Those aren't going to work. So nothing personal in that aspect, but personal from my heart, from my feelings, from my mind. The things that I put out, the whole show, the past 8 months has been therapeutic for me. And going back to some of the feedback that I've received, I'm not trying to reach everyone in the world. This subject matter is not for everyone. It is for those, some may be struggling with whatever it is, an addiction, a depression, whatever, heartbreak, a loss of a loved one. I've experienced all those things. I'm good with those things. Well, I'm better with those things now. Not necessarily good, but better. A lot better. And had 2020 not happened, I don't know. Would it be in the same place? Maybe. To a degree. I don't know. But I don't look at 2020 as all bad. I'm not saying it's all good by any means necessary. Could it have been better overall for the society? Maybe. Could it have been better for me? Maybe. Maybe not. Again, I've enjoyed the opportunity to reflect. I think maybe it could have been a call-in show. It could have been one of the sessions with the Big Kahuna. He referred to his dark period. We didn't get really deep into the dark period, but he was coming off of whatever the situation was. And for a year or two, just kind of shut down and had his self-reflection moment. He would have been in his early 30s. My early 30s were going pretty good. They really were. It wasn't until my later 30s that things later 30s, early 40s, things started, I guess, slowing down, going sideways. I could probably go back and do some fact checking on that and figure out exactly when it was. I haven't made it that far down that road. But 2020 for me, has been a pretty damn good year, all things considering. When we move past whatever sorrows and pains and allow others in, that's when we really were vulnerable at that point. And that's something that was difficult for me for a long time. And I would like to think that by reflecting, obviously looking back, that's part of what reflection is. No, I don't have COVID. My nose itched. Don't have a runny nose. I don't have a fever. Don't have chills. My nose itched. I needed a scratch. For those of you listening on the audio only show, I scratched my nose. So that's what that meant. You probably figured it out. I don't think any of you are. You can't pick up on the context clues. So speaking of the shifting gears, just to sidebar myself, but the reflection for me, I sit here, when I do these, I am looking at myself essentially in the mirror. Looking myself in the face. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to me. They're my thoughts. They're what's going on. I share them with you. Openly, freely, and willingly. And for those of you that listen, I hope that there's something that you can take away. Something that will help you through. Like John talked about X, Y, or Z. And I'm not saying that I'm the greatest motivational speaker. I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker. To a degree. But if I can inspire a person, help one person through whatever that struggle is, then I'm not doing it for me for gratification to help someone. But at the same time, if it does help someone, that brings a smile to my face. I have friends around the country, some around the world, and opening back up and reaching back out to many of them, which I'd gone into a dark place. I'd shut down, secluded in my mind, and realizing it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you do, what you have done. We all have some of the same struggles. And I really hope that the audio is recording, because I don't see anything going. I really hope it is. But I hope if somebody gets something out of this, that's good. I can vlog. I can put these out there. I can not share them with anybody. I choose to. I've got the video. I don't have to share it. But again, going back to the feedback, there's been a lot more positive than negative. And the negative, I alluded to some of the recent ones. Is it nitpicky? Maybe. But I take it into consideration. I want to be as clear as possible. But the mind's bouncing around. Jack Russell Terrier up in there. Wherever it's going. And I'm not sure if it's a male or female Jack Russell. Whichever one is they're probably all just about as crazy and wild and Tigger bouncing around. Tigger could have been a Jack Russell Terrier. Other than that tail. Right? Anyway. But I was talking about the rebranding earlier, and the CroftCast has allowed me to rebrand. Not selling myself. I'm not a commodity. Though, I told you, I'm divorced since February, so no, I'm just kidding. Kind of. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just my serious face. But with the rebranding of oneself and finding who you are, how you perceive yourself, and how others perceive you, there could be a big difference there. It's like looking in the mirror. Well, I still feel like in my mind, I think I'm 26. I look in the mirror or on camera, You're not 26 anymore, Hoss. That ship sailed a while back. It's been a minute. We can do quick math on that and see how many minutes it's really been, but it's been a few. The air just kicked on, so I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's actually a really nice Christmas day here. Told y'all I had some friends that were traveling. Had gone. Some of our group were scattered across North America, and anyway, there's snow, beach, some here in Central Texas. I've talked before about your tribe, keeping your tribe together and tight. You don't have to physically be together for your tribe to all be there, but just knowing that you're still all a team. We finished the table. I finished the table literally, but Haley and Zach down here a couple weekends in a row working on the table. Teamwork. I talked about that before, and they came down this afternoon, evening time frame. Had a little Christmas. I did Christmas this year more like a Super Bowl party. They'd been eating all day, breakfast, lunch, different family places. So I decided that we're just going to do snacks and finger food kind of stuff. I'll try to remember to put a pic up there. Had the whiteboard, things mapped out. Here's what we're going to do. Or it started off with what I was going to do, and then other people added to the board. Either told me what they were going to bring or added once they got here, so it was on the checklist. I did ribs, chicken wings. I separated the wings. You want to make sure you get the drums away from the flappers. Buddy Mike, he's a big flapper guy. I'm more of a drumette kind of dude. So had Mike been here, we could have split the wings, half for you, half for me. I had an equal number of drums and flappers. Anyway, too much about the food. But sometimes during the rebranding and the refocus of oneself and opening up, I talked about the vulnerability. Opening up to other people allows other people to open up to you. Because if I'm closed off, then I'm not approachable. I may come across as an ass. I can be when I need to be. But I don't see myself as that kind of person. So if I come across that way, unless I need to be in a particular moment, but if I come across that way all the time, then you know what? I don't see myself as that, but other people do. That's one of those times where I need to rebrand. I need to take a deep look into that camera, into that mirror, and see what's really going on inside to where I'm not approachable. Or maybe I haven't displayed emotion and affection at the right times along the way. And I'm at the point now where I'm ready to do that. I'm in a good spot. I am. I told you, 2020 for me, not a bad year at all. I'm not going to look back on this and say, oh, 2020, that was so bad. No. Been a pretty good year. For me. Not for everybody. Were there people that died? Yes. Did we all have to wear masks and do certain things we really didn't want to do? Yes. But 2020 has been a flash. It has gone by very fast for me. I refuse to let 2020 take away any more of me. Could I have been more active? Sure. I wasn't in an active place. I was in a mental place I needed to get out of. And I'm there. And there have been times where some of you have thought or asked, you thought and then you asked, it sounded like you were going to you were going to hang it all up and walk away from the podcast. And I wasn't in that spot. I still needed this. And now I was kind of getting that spot where I thought, you know what? I think I'm good. And then people have reached out and said, and not exact words, but keep doing what you're doing. And that goes back to, if it reaches one person and affects one person's life positively, I've had a positive influence on someone else. That's one. When there are multiple, then that's even better. I do it for me, but I also do it for you. That's my 2020 in a nutshell. And those of you that have been here the entire time, not just this video or podcast if you're listening to it on the audio only show, it's been a journey. I've gone back and listened to bits and pieces of some of the early shows. Gear was different. Learning how to do some of the things. And I keep getting different gear, different software, and continuing to learn and push myself to provide the best possible experience, however you consume it. If you're not watching the videos, I recommend them. There's a few more tidbits thrown in for the video. If you're an audio only person, that's fine. I appreciate that as well. Neither one are monetized, so it doesn't matter how it's consumed so long as it's being consumed. I appreciate you all for listening, for watching, for helping me on this journey to get through 2020. 2020. What are you going to do? We're going to wrap it up, stick a fork in it, call it done, move into 2021, and continue marching forward. Bigger, better, stronger, faster, more resilient, rebranded, ready to take on any of the challenges. Or not just challenges, opening up our hearts, our souls to other people. And putting ourselves out there. Being better humans. Being a better mankind. And with that, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.